Give me 1 second. I love technology.
I know
I
it's
was trying to connect with Instagram, so it's not showing a little blurry here.
okay, but we officially live. So welcome,
Awesome.
Luz, to our first live of 2026. So today we're going to be talking about a program that was a big hit twice already. We had it back in 2024, and we also had it back in 2023, if I'm not mistaken, right? So this is the third time around that Dreamfall is coming back to live.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So let's talk about it so that way the audience can know the details, the information, the juice about the program.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
absolutely. Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? I'm trying to.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Okay, I think
Okay,
we got
perfect.
it.
So few weeks ago, so the Cal Hafa and also the state of California announced that they're gonna bring back for a third time the Dream for All program. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, Back in 2024, that's the last time that we saw it. They were giving exactly 20% down payment in order for to buy the house, or
Right.
150,000, right?
Correct. Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So can you provide us more details about the program?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Edwin. Sorry for the tech difficulty here. We can never, as much as we use technology every day, we're always not grasping it correctly. So this is the third time the program launches. So historically it started a couple of years ago. We don't know yet the day that it's going to be opening, but we are preparing consumers to start submitting their applications, to start the application process for the Dream for All, right? And like you mentioned, the Dream for All program can give you 20% up to $150,000, right? So it is a loan. So just, you probably hear a lot of people on social media saying, California, it's giving away free money. It's not free money. It is a shared appreciation program, okay, which I can explain on that a little bit as we go. So the program, it's a phenomenal one. I think everyone should participate on it. So some of the requirements is credit score. You need a 680. It's also going to be an income limitation. For LA County, it's $168,000 for everyone to participate. You doesn't mean you need to make 168,000. That means you can make up to 168,000. Also, too, you must be first generation. So one person must meet the first generation requirement. So you can have two or three people buying the home with you, and only one person needs to be a first generation homeowner. Okay. A big question we get asked a lot: do you need to have a residency in the US to buy a home? The answer is yes. It is a conventional loan, so we do require it, and we do accept DACA recipient. That's a really big question. So as long as you have a work permit, you are allowed to buy in California with the program as well.
Okay, perfect. So technically, so based on what you mentioned right now, so technically it's 168,000. That's the max income. Now I have a question. The 168,000. Um, let's say if it's husband and wife, and they both together make more than
Mm-hmm.
that amount, but one
Mm-hmm.
of them make less than 168,000 in LA County. Can only one person can apply, or it has to be both of them on the application, and they're gonna consider both incomes?
Yeah, we're only going to consider the income of the person that applies for the loan. That's it. So we're, even if the tax return shows, two people or three people in the household, we're not, our guidelines are not subjective to like the city of Los Angeles programs, or any of the city of Riverside as well. We're going to look at our applicant and their income only.
Okay, perfect. So 20% down, 150,000. So it
Mhm.
cannot exceed more than 150,000. So practically, now how the people will be able to be chosen? You mean when you apply, you automatically get those funds? How exactly that will happen?
Yeah, yeah. No, the first year it did happen that way. The first year, everyone that applied got the loan. The money went out in 11 days, $300 million gone 11 days. So that went really fast. So the second year, it's not a lottery, right? Because it's not free money, but it is a selected system. So everyone that applies uploads their pre-approval letter to CalHFA's portal, and they get selected, right? So The way it's going to work, you need to go through a participating, CalHAFA approved lender or loan officer to get your pre-approval. The pre-approval process is just like any loan process where you need to meet the credit and income qualification, 680 credit score. You need to stay under the income limitation of the county you're going to be buying into. Once you meet those guidelines, we issue a pre-approval letter. That approval letter gets registered into CalHAFA's portal with requirements that they're going to need from you. And then when you get selected, once the portal closes, then you're going to know if you were selected or not. You're going to receive one of three notifications. Either you won the money, second, you're waitlisted, and third, you were declined. Okay. If you are waitlisted, then we do recommend for you to wait there until the funds are released, because historically, last year, all my clients that were waitlisted received a voucher. So I had a client that was number 800, and he won. He received the money at the end of the day.
Okay. Yes, we had a conference today in the morning with one of the representatives from CalHAFA. CalHAFA is the company that is managing all the money for this specific program.
Yes.
And she did mention from the Dream for All from 2024, the last few people who were able to get a reservation and also get an extension, I believe it's gonna expire next month.
Correct.
So
in February.
So after almost 2 years after it was announced, there's still people buying and looking for houses with that specific program.
Yeah, so the first year, everyone that received the voucher already expired, right? So there was money left from 2024 that rolled over to 2025. So in 2025, besides the funding that CalHAFA allocated for the lotto, for the selected program, there were additional funds from the previous year that was left over, right? So now in 2026, today, the program's going to relaunch, right? And there's going to be allocated funds that are going to be released to the program. Not only are the new funds that are going to be allocated, but any money that was left over from 2025 that people did not use the voucher. And I can tell you that there's going to be a lot of funding left from that, because personally I have a few clients that have not been able to find a home yet, and February is around the corner. And then there's a lot of my clients that let go of their voucher. They did not use it, so there's additional funding that's going to go. So I'm sure I'm not the only one. This is a whole state of California wide, that there will be additional funding allocated to what's already going to be released in 2026. So we hope that there's going to be more opportunity for first-time buyers this upcoming year.
Okay, perfect. And also one big change that is happening is going to be, back then, everyone who will be on the application has to be first generation.
All right.
Now,
yes.
If 2, 3, or 4 people are applying for this program, at least one person has to be a first generation home buyer, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Only one is needed. That's a big change. The second change too is that we're allowing out-of-state borrowers to apply in California. So if you have someone that, if you have a brother that lives in Arizona and wants to move back to California, but he's currently living and working there, and he's going to relocate with a job here in California, we're allowing that co-applicant to be part of the application now, which in the past that wasn't.
You mentioned something really important. You mentioned they have to move to California. So technically they can have someone from out of state, but eventually they have to occupy the home. Or at least by the time of the purchase, they have to occupy the home. So they cannot use a co-signer that is non-occupied, correct?
Correct. Yes. And that's very confusing. We get a lot of calls in regarding that particular question, because on the guidelines online on CalHAFA's website, it just shows must be first generation, out-of-state co-applicant allowed. So when it says that, everyone thinks, I can have a co-signer from out of state help me qualify for my home here in California. The answer is yes, but behind it is that they must occupy the home with you. So that means they're willing to move to California with a job to apply.
Oh, okay, perfect. Now, going just one step behind, you mentioned first generation. So, and there's a lot of confusion between first generation home buyer versus first-time home buyers. So a first generation home buyer, that's mean that mom or dad, they don't own a house right now, or in the last 7 years, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay, so that's a first time generation home buyer. So someone who doesn't own a, their parents they don't own a house, and of course you as the applicant you don't own a house.
You cannot have owned a home or been on title in California, I mean, in the US in the last 3 years and be first generation.
Okay, but everyone has to be a first time home buyer.
Everyone must be a first time home buyer. Correct.
Okay, perfect. And that's if you own a house and again, we're trying to provide as much information as we
Mhm.
can right now. So if you own a house 10 years ago, you don't own a house, your parents, one of the borrowers, the parents that don't own a house, they will be able to apply.
Correct. Yes.
Okay, perfect. Now, so this program is not exactly free money. It's not a grant. It's gonna
Mhm.
be a second loan that is silent. So that's mean they won't charge you a payment every month. Okay, but in the last two times we noticed is share appreciation. Can you explain more exactly what they mean by share appreciation?
Yeah. So I'll give you a very simple math, right? Because people get confused on the whole shared appreciation concept. And also know that on the CalHFA's website, if you are interested, Edwin can share the link with you. Just, go ahead and just put in your chat, I'm interested. We can send you the link where there's a 1 hour education course online and it's for free, and it's going to explain you line by line for a whole hour of how the shared appreciation program works. Okay, but just to make it very simple, because I know we're live and we can take 30 minutes explaining this. CalHAPA takes an hour to explain to the consumer how the program works. If you buy a home for $500,000, for example, right, and CalHAPA gives you 20% of that, which is $100,000. So you're going to be borrowing $400,000 from the bank. CalHAPA is going to give you $100,000. In 5 years from now, let's say you sell your home and the property is worth 550. Well, you've gained now $50,000 of equity. Okay, that $50,000 of equity that you've gained, you will only share 20% of the appreciation of that equity. You first have to pay back CalHAPA the $100,000 they gave you for the second. Once that's paid, anything that's left from that equity, you're going to pay 20% of the appreciation to CalHAPA. Okay, so the longer you retain the home, the more equity you gain, the more you're going to share, right? The shorter you keep the loan, then the equity you're sharing with CalHAPA will be less. So we're averaging out, I'm thinking the program's pretty new. It's only been, this is our third year, that I already have one client that got rid of the loan already. So last year he got it and he already sold his home and only, paid back the $100,000, and he only shared like $8,000 of appreciation with CalHAPA because the property didn't gain a lot of equity. So, and the average homeowner will probably keep this home about anywhere from 5 to 7 years once they realize that the equity is building and they have the opportunity to refinance and get rid of that second mortgage, and then only pay 20% of the equity to CalHAPA.
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's what we're estimating. Again, the loan is not due for 30 years, so you don't need to refinance. You don't need to sell that loan. You have to pay it off once you're done with the first mortgage, which is 30 years.
Okay, perfect. Now, last time in 2024, do you remember how long it was the window of applications open? Like for
So
people
the
to.
portal, yeah. So the portal will be open anywhere from like 3 to 4 weeks. I think it was 4 weeks the last time it was opened.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
And
and
what?
it does close when it says it's going to close. So you want to have your pre-approval ready in case you run into internet problems, upload problems. You never know.
Okay, so technically, we don't have a date yet. Hopefully they're gonna announce it, and we're hoping that it should be on the springtime when they open it. And usually, it's only a few weeks that they have it open. So people only gonna have few weeks in order for them to apply through the portal, send all the documents, and being in
Correct.
at that time just wait to see if they can be chosen. Now, last time, what do you remember? What was the biggest stop for a lot of people that they didn't qualify for this program? or to apply
There's
for the program?
credit, well, there's a lot of them, right? So let me just give you some top of mind that I feel where clients didn't meet the deadlines. Credit score was one. Often, clients thought they had the credit score to meet the guidelines. We ran the credit score was not there. So that was a big factor. Number two was getting a pre-approval letter on time. By the time clients heard the program was only open for another week, it wasn't giving the consumer enough time to work with the loan officer to give them a pre-approval letter. Okay, so that I feel like clients were rushing to try to get a pre-approval letter from participating loan officers, and they just didn't get one on time. We had a kind of like a stop because we were committed to finishing applications that were turned in to us on time. And we're working with clients that were working through credit, collecting documents, making sure they're getting a qualified mortgage. One of the things that happened, and you heard that today in this morning from a CalHFA representative, that a lot of clients were issued pre-approval letters. They won the voucher and they were never approved for a home loan. Okay, so they were very disappointed that now they had this voucher that was worth $150,000, but they couldn't get a loan because they were not approved for that mortgage. So, working with a participating loan officer or someone that has experience processing these files, it's going to be really important because you don't want to get an approval letter, win the voucher, and then find out that you never had a home loan. So I think that is for us really important. And with our process is that we make sure our clients have an actual pre-approval letter. So if we're getting a loan application the day that the portal is closing, chances are that we're not going to have enough time to send your pre-approval letter.
Okay. So
Yeah.
again, we're hoping the portal should be open by spring. So at least it will give us 2 months. That's 8 weeks in total as a minimum. And that's just our guess, okay, for people to get ready. Okay, you mentioned FICO score, not being able to get pre-approved. And those two are two requirements in order for you to apply for this program. So something, that we are advising as well. If this program is something that will help you purchase a home, contact your lender right away. Contact your real estate agent so they can connect you to a lender who's able to do this type of programs. Okay, so that way, when you set up an appointment, you having everything ready. You having the FICO score ready. If you don't have the FICO score because you need to pay any collections, any debt, you have at least 2 months in order to work on that, getting the approval letter. File your taxes and everything else. So you have the package ready because when the portal open, you will be able to submit the full package right away. So that way they can consider your application in order to get the voucher.
Yeah. So just, kind of recapping on that, CalHFA announced that the program was going to be open early in 2026. Okay. Early 2026 can happen tomorrow. It's just that simple. It can happen tomorrow. It can happen in February. It can happen in March. So if it happens next week that they announce the portal will open up, let's say end of this month, if you're still collecting your paperwork from your tax returns, if you're self-employed and planning to prepare in March, you may be too late for the program, right? So once they launch it, it's only open for about 4 weeks. So 4 weeks go by really quick for you to prepare to submit applications. We've been taking applications for the program since November. We have people applying already since the month of November. They're ready. All they're waiting for it's for them to announce the date of the opening date. We're going to automatically send them the pre-approval letters the day the portal opens because we already have our list of clients already pre-approved for that program. Okay. We're going to double check that the eligibility is still there, that what we have now didn't change. And if everything is the same, everybody gets a pre-approval letter the day the portal opens. And that will give my clients enough time to register and upload their pre-approval letter. Okay, because I know a lot of clients missed those deadlines last year.
I know, and also that I remember usually when the portal opens, that's when you hear more noise about it, and a lot of people reaching out to the lender, to the real estate agent, and sometimes you guys get so many applications at the same time that it's difficult to provide. I don't want to say the word best customer service, but you have a lot of people reaching out at the same time. Right now, you're going to have more time in order to dedicate to that specific client in order to get it ready, in order for them to apply.
Yeah, we do our best, right? Our goal is to provide everyone with excellent service, but it takes time. So not every loan application it's a cookie cutter, right? Some applications are very simple. W-2s, everyone has their job, great credit, let's go. Those take 20, 30 minutes. And then we're issuing the pre-approval letters. Some of our applicants, need a conversation, right? We need a 30, 40-minute hour consultation to go over their income, to structure their job history, to maybe get support on the credit report. You may have a job gap. You may have a residency issue. You may have a frozen credit report, right? So imagine if you call me 24 hours before the portal opens and you have your credit report's frozen, and by the time it gets to us, it's no longer frozen, the portal closes. It happened to many clients last year. Yeah.
I remember we had a client that came with us to get pre-qualified less than a week.
Yeah.
And by the time she was getting the documents of the co-signer, she wasn't able to get all the documents, something of the taxes. The tax preparer was not even available to provide those documents. And the portal closed. So it's always be prepared ahead of time. So that way you're able to be ready when that happened.
Yeah.
And also you have 20% down payment. That money, can you use a portion for the closing cost, or everything has to go straight for the down payment?
Yeah, no, you could use the money towards closing costs and down payment. You are allowed to put in additional 5% of your own funds. So if you have additional money that you'd like to contribute, you can contribute your own 5%. If you have additional money that's coming from a nonprofit organization that's a grant, you can add it on as well, right? So as long as it's not your funds, you can have third party bring in a larger down payment. So if you get a grant for $100,000 and then you have $150,000 from CalHFA, then you could use it all towards your down payment. And then you're only allowed from your own funds to invest 5% of your own money. Okay. So that's something important that everyone needs to know.
Okay, perfect. And one of the biggest mistake I want to share that is that a lot of people think, okay, I got pre-approved. My lender said, okay, I'm pre-approved for the program. Is that the lender is not responsible to submit the application, right? It has to be the applicant, the one who has to go to a specific portal and submit the application. So that's super important. So if you got pre-approved and you think, okay, you're ready to go, you have personally, when the portal opens, you have to be the one who submit the application.
Yes, yeah, you have to. And that's why we want everyone to be prepared, because, there's going to be a lot of questions the portal has, right? If you are, tech savvy, you're going to get through it, but sometimes you don't know how to upload that paperwork, right? You don't know how to attach it, which happened to a lot of our clients. You're going to need photo IDs. You're going to have to get a birth certificate. There's a list of requirements that you have to meet for CalHFA under portal. So you want to make sure you have all of this in time. So once we issue the pre-approval letter, we will follow up with instructions on how to register. And we also follow up. We're having, seminars consistently showing the clients live videos on how to register and upload your document. Just in case, it should be pretty simple. CalHFA also has a lot of great videos and tools that you can watch on how to register your a pre-approval letter, but we're also doing it for our clients.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much for that golden information, Luz. And by the way, on January 24th, January 21st, we're gonna be going live. So through a home buyer seminar, we're gonna be speaking about the whole process of buying a house. So if you're looking to buy a home, you're looking to buy an investment, either through the Dream for All program, we have another program through CalHFA as well that you can get the money right away. You don't have to wait in order to get selected. We're going to be talking about those programs. So just click on millennialrealtors.com, or you can call to the number on the screen so we can send you the links and you can register. It's going to be online, so you don't have to go to a location. You can be physically from your house and you can get all that information.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And we're also going to be sharing other CalHFA programs that you can use, because Dream for All program may not be for everybody, right? So you want to make sure that this is the right program for you. It is a great opportunity. I can tell you, I've helped a lot of families get into homes with the Dream for All program. Often people's like, no, what are the chances that I get the money? Well, guess what? People that didn't expect to receive $150,000 received it. A lot of my clients gave up. They said, well, no, we're never going to get it. They were waitlisted. They received the vouchers and now they own a home. So it is a great opportunity. If you're first generation and you meet the requirements, I highly recommend that if you thought about home ownership being real, this can be that opportunity you've been waiting for. I would definitely apply. If I was first generation and my kids were first generation, I would submit an application, because that's not every day that you're able to receive $150,000 at 0% interest. 0% interest. Yeah.
So hold on. I didn't know that information. So
0% interest. You only share depreciation, which is a big chunk, but the loan itself is 0% interest.
now, 0% interest. Now, here's a trick. You can refinance the loan eventually, so you don't have to share the appreciation until you sell the house. You can refinance the loan. And
1 year, 1 year after, 1 year after.
Okay, that's a good information.
Yeah.
So 1 year after, you can refinance the loan and you can pay that money back. So that way you don't continue gaining equity or appreciation. You have to share that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Luz. I know
You're
we're gonna be
welcome.
back a few more times. We're also
Yes.
gonna do it in Spanish soon. So for the Latino community about this specific program. So this is for everyone. It's for the whole state of California. So if you're looking to buy a home, construction wise, just to let you know, you can buy a manufactured home with the land.
Close and personal.
Yeah. You can buy a manufactured home with the land. You can buy a condo. You can buy a townhome. You can buy a single family resident home with this program. You cannot buy a duplex or multi-units with this program. It's super important. It has to be a single family resident home. It has to be owner occupied.
Yeah. Join us on our seminar. We're going to go in detail, more in depth about the program line by line. It is about 45 minutes presentation. We're going to give you all the answers you need to know how the program works.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thank you, Luz, for your time. And
you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.